You are about to hear an incredibly inspiring interview with one of my soulful six-figure mastermind clients. I cannot wait for you to hear their journey and their insights and all of their nuggets of wisdom. But before we dive in, I thought I have to let you know this is super exciting. The Soulful Six Figure Mastermind is actually opening applications this month for our next round, which starts on November 2nd. So mark your calendars because applications will be open from October 13th through the 27th or until the mastermind fills. Now, for those of you who don't know, this is my most elite high-touch program. So it's a 6-month business mastermind for entrepreneurs who want to grow their business and create financial overflow, but without that hustle, grindy, panicky energy behind it. We really do it through alignment. Now, this isn't your average mastermind in that I'm not going to give you a 3-step strategy or process to follow or a huge to-do list. Not around here. Truly, our focus is on your energy in business and your energy around money. When you learn to master your energy, that changes everything. You'll find that you don't have to work so hard and you begin to attract incredible opportunities and clients and income and all kinds of things into your life. And you get to stop trying to force things to happen. In fact, my clients who have gone through the mastermind start working less and making way more money. Because the truth is, ease, abundance, and fun are 100% available to you. You just have to let go of these conditioned beliefs that tell you that business and money has to be hard and it has to take a long time and you have to struggle in order to make it happen. So if you're ready to step into the abundance that is your birthright and create more ease and joy in your business while making more money than you ever thought possible, you're going to want to apply for the Soulful Six-Figure Mastermind this round. Now, like I said, this is my most intimate, high-touch program, and I only open it up to a limited number of clients twice a year. Now, this round, we have 2 different cohorts. So we have one for those of you who are entrepreneurs who are working towards your first 100K in business. And the other is for those of you who are already at 6 figures and you're focused on scaling to multiple 6 figures up to $1 million. So in order to ensure that each group has perfect fit clients that are really going to be able to make the most out of this mastermind, it's an application-only process. And we are taking a maximum of 15 people, and those spots are filling up fast. So many of my past clients are coming back into and re-signing. So if you are interested in getting into this round of the mastermind, you're going to want to apply. You can go to my show notes to find out more and find the link right there. But for now, let's get into this amazing interview with one of my Soulful Six-Figure Mastermind clients. Welcome to Money, Manifestation, and Business, the podcast that shows you how to use your energy, intention, and consciousness to reprogram your money mindset, unleash a new level of possibility, and create a life and business that lights you up. I'm your host, Jamie Berman, and I invite you to join me each week for a dose of inspiration, coaching, and teachings to help you rewrite your money story, create abundance on your terms, and grow your business in a way that's fully aligned for you. This is going to be so much fun. Let's dive in. We have the amazing Jolene Winn with us today, and I am so excited for this interview. Jolene is an amazing client who has been with me since what feels like almost the start of her business.
Pretty much.
So I feel pretty much the start. So I just feel so honored to have been her coach and be able to witness the incredible growth that has happened personally for her within her business, and just seeing what she has created and manifested over the past couple of years. It is absolutely amazing. So I definitely want to dive in and hear all of the things, hear about your journey, what's shifted, what's helped, what's allowed you to become a amazing six-figure coach. You are the life coach for the porn addict's wife, a podcaster, an author, right?
Yeah.
And so tell me a little bit more about yourself, and then I want to dive into how you've grown this amazing business in such a short amount of time.
Okay. First of all, thank you for having me on here. I love you and I love working with you. And I feel like I've been working with you pretty much since the start of my business. I started coaching in July of 2020. And then I hired you in like December or January of 2021. So it was 6 months later, like pretty much immediately I knew I was going to need some help, that my brain was not going to be able to handle life on its own. And so we have been together for a very long time. It's been amazing. And what do you want to know? It's like, where should I start?
Yeah, just tell me a little bit about your business.
Okay. So I work with women, typically Christian women, who have a spouse struggling with a pornography problem. And I started off coaching one-on-one, and now I've moved into group coaching, and I have a program all set up. And the reason that I do that is my husband struggled with a pornography addiction. And when I found life coaching and, mindset and, emotional processing, once I learned all of that and I certified through the life coach school, I realized that there were people that didn't know these tools, and I just felt called to go find them. And that's really how I started my business. But what I learned very quickly was that you can be a really good coach, which I feel like I always have been, and you can have this passion and this drive, but there's a lot of things that go into running a business that I had no idea. And there's a lot of little details and decisions that you make along the way that I felt I was getting in the way of growing, right? I felt like I was trying to do all the right things, and I was very hustly, and it just was not working. And that's when I found you. I was like, someone has got to have an answer that's different than just like grind and, instant message a million people a day on Instagram and cold message people on Facebook. I just was not into that. And I was like, someone else has got to have an answer, or there must be a solution. And that's when I found you. I was like very attracted to your energy, and it has been night and day difference since then.
Oh my goodness. So I want to hear a little bit about that before, and what you were trying and why it wasn't working.
Totally. So the first thing I tried to do was just do it all by myself.
Okay.
The first thing I tried was, I was like, okay, great. I'm certified as a life coach. I should just be able to start a business. And I very quickly realized I didn't know what a consultation was. I didn't know how much I should charge. I was just trying to find all the right answers from other programs. So I joined one program, and then I joined another one. And I was like, okay, maybe if someone just lays out exactly how it's supposed to happen, then I can just follow it. And maybe that'll be the thing. That I felt like there must be some kind of secret that somebody had of how to do it that was going to be the answer. So I kept joining all these programs thinking, okay, this one didn't have the answer. Maybe I'll join this one, and that one will have the answer. And again, it was just very hustly. It felt very hustly to me. I just kept trying to shift what I was doing in order to change what was being created. And in my brain, logically, that made sense. Logically, it made sense that, okay, if I'm not getting the result, then it must be because I'm doing something wrong. But that I did not have the emotional capacity to do that for very long. And very quickly I was like, this isn't working. And I was like, I need to find a coach, because my head is just not in the right space. And that's when I found you. And I was very just immediately attracted to your energy. It was all from a photo. I was like, I love this girl. I don't know what she does. I think at that time your website hadn't been updated, and because you used to coach on PCOS and like weight loss. And I think your website was still that.
Yeah, totally.
And I went and I was like, I don't care what this girl coaches on. Like, I'm pretty sure it's business, because that's how I found her. And I was like emailing you and I was like, can I buy you yesterday? Like I need to spend money and I need you in my life. And when I started working with you, which you were obviously a business coach, and you showed me, even just in the consultation, was so powerful because you showed me where I was now and you're like, okay, where do you want to go? And it became so clear. And you were like, look, here's the only things in the way. And it was all my thoughts and feelings. And I was like, that was such a powerful shift for me. And ever since then, that has, working with you has been the thing that keeps bringing me back to every result that you create is entirely from you, from your energy, your thoughts, your feelings. And my brain very much wants to go back to the how and do all the things still to this day. And every time I'm with you and I coach with you, every coaching call I have, you're always bringing me back to thoughts, feelings, energy. And that's what shifts. And once when I come back to that, that's when I start seeing a shift in my business and the results that I create.
Yes, 100%. And this is totally why two people can be doing the exact same things in terms of action, right? Like you said, you were DMing all the people, you were following what they told you to do. And they're like, if you do this, your business will grow. But the reason there's no results is because of the thoughts and the energy that's behind it. So, what do you think that energy was before that was behind the actions that you were taking before we started working together that allowed, right? Because if you could potentially do those actions with a different energy and get results. So, what do you think the energy is that doesn't work?
For sure. So for me, one of them was like desperation.
Yeah.
Like I was like, I was very desperate to find a solution. Yeah. Again, I also thought it was a problem. I thought that my business should be different than it was, that I should be making more than I was. And that was like an issue. And because it was a problem, then I like wanted an immediate solution. So I was very desperate. And that doesn't come off well to other people. And the other thing was, when this is what we spent like the whole first year working on, which was such a powerful shift for me, was learning how to learning how to detach from the goal, right? Learning how to detach from from the result that I wanted to create, right? Like learning how to hold a goal of, having $100,000 business, making $100,000, but not needing to have it. And that was not an energy that I was in. I was in very much a graspy, needy, I want these people to buy from me. I need to get clients in order to feel, like a successful business person and like I can coach and all of these things. And when I was in that energy, that is when none of the things that I was doing were working.
Yes. I remember that, right? Your relationship with your goal was like probably the biggest thing we worked on. And once that shifted, like whoosh, things started. I mean, you were getting results right when we started. I feel like you started signing clients right away, but it's like things really opened up for you. I also think just energetically it opened up where you felt more free in yourself whenever you stopped being so attached to the goal. So what do you think changed there? Like, how did you start seeing the goal differently that started to serve you? Versus before, like you said, you were attached to it. You made it mean something about you. I remember you used to say like, well, what's the point of the goal if we're not striving for it or if it's not hard, right? Like you were like so confused.
Yeah, I know. I couldn't understand it. My brain just like was like, well, then why even have goals? I think the biggest thing that helped me was learning this was a concept that you taught me, was really learning how to step into my future self. And this was such a powerful shift for me. And what it looked like for me was, the first 6 months of my business. So the first year, right? I started in July of 2020. From July to December, I made $12,000. The next year, I made $65,000. And I switched from one-on-one coaching to group coaching. So I started working way less. And the shift that happened for me that made that possible was, rather than seeing myself as a coach who made $12,000, is I started to see myself and believe that I was a 100K coach and making decisions from that energy, right? From the energy of like, this is inevitable. It's happening already. I don't know when, I don't know how, I don't need to know how. That just created a space internally where I could show up and serve and not need the result to happen in order for me to feel a certain way. Does this make sense?
Yes, 100%. Totally. That's it. Where it's like we have to, and this is so hard for the brain to get this, and that's why we've coached on it and everything, but it like landed for you where it's like you really cannot look at your current reality and your current circumstances to determine who you are or what your identity is because you were already past that, but it's like the results just have to catch up. If we think of how manifestation works or how the model works, what comes first? Thoughts come first, right? Thoughts come before results. But for some reason, the way that our brain is wired, we just so badly want the results in order to believe something about ourselves. So it makes so much sense at the moment you were like, you know what? I am a 100K coach. That's just who I am. It doesn't matter what my circumstance is. It doesn't matter what the account says right now. That's who I am. And I'm living from that place. And that's when the results start to follow.
Yes. Okay. And let me just throw out there that like, I'm still learning this. Like we coached on this yesterday, right?
We all are,
okay,
Jolene.
so I mean, like, yes, ladies, like everybody listening to this podcast, like this is not something that I have like a skill in now. Like I haven't just like, oh, I got it once and now I'm good. I am like constantly needing Jamie in my life to remind me of this. And I'm up leveling it now. So last year, I made $65,000 that year and the following year. So last year, 2022, I made $100,000, which was amazing. But it felt like, oh, of course, because I had already become the person who could make $100,000. And so this year I was like, great, I'm going to up level and make $300,000. And lo and behold, here comes again, my brain just like graspy and needy and wanting the results in my bank account to prove that it's going to work, to prove that it's happening. And again, I'm learning again how to let that go and how to step into and practice being that 300K coach. And when I practice that, when I allow myself to really believe harder, because that's what it takes believing harder when you don't have results. It's easier to believe. This is why our brain wants results first. It's easier to believe when we have proof, when we have evidence. It would be easy for me to believe that I could make $300,000 if I'd already done it. If there were $300,000 in my bank account, then my brain would say, well, yes, of course you can make it. But until then, it's harder. I just have to believe in myself, in my ability, in the universe bringing it to me, in God helping me out, in all of the pieces working together. And that's harder to believe. Like it just takes a little more oomph. And my brain doesn't like that. It takes a little more work and my brain is lazy. And so my brain wants to just wait for the results first and then I'll believe. And so we coached on this yesterday, is just shifting this in my head now to becoming the 300K coach, becoming the woman who brings that in and attracts it versus trying to grasp it in order to feel like it's possible.
Yes.
That makes sense.
Yes. Gold right there. And you're so right. Every level we forget. We're like, right? Because then it's like when we achieve the thing, we're like, ooh, we're in that energy of, ooh, I created the 100K, right? I'm a 6-figure coach. I did it. And then to go to the next level, sometimes we think the process is different. Like, I know that's for me. I'll be like, oh, well, I hit 500, but 500K, in order to hit 1 million, I have to change everything. And the process is going to be so different. And, our brain it forgets. That's why we have coaches, right? Because we have to be reminded over and over. And the good news is like, once you've done the process once, not that it's easy to do it again necessarily. It still takes our brain, like it takes energy for our brain to believe in the unseen. But at least when we have done it once, there's some evidence. And when we have some evidence, we're like, okay, I've done it once. This is the path. So you keep reminding yourself and it's a little easier to trust, right?
100%. Yes.
Yes.
Exactly.
So good. So good. So, one of the things that I wanted to touch on, because I just love your passion and I love what we were talking about yesterday so Jolene's in the Soulful 6-Figure Mastermind. And on our call, we were talking about what works. Like, I'm always asking my clients what works, because we tend to forget. Even myself, I tend to forget. I have to constantly come back and ask myself, what works for me? What is it that lights me up? Why am I doing this? Why am I
Yes.
showing up for this business and creating
Yes.
this wild thing, right? Like, getting back to that. And as you shared yesterday, I just had chills because I could feel how true it was for you, how passionate you are. So I want to hear a little, just like, if you're willing to share what works. What is it that allows you to attract clients versus having to go and push and sell and try and hustle?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The thing that works for me the most is really, again, just like you were just saying, is remembering why I do it in the first place. It's very easy in business, even if you start with the best of intentions or for the greatest purpose in mind. When you're running a business day to day, it's very easy to get wrapped up in the details. Okay, emails and marketing and launching and programs and pricing and consults and all of those little details. And for me, it's very easy to get lost in those details. And that turns me inward. And that turns my energy inward and my focus inward. And when I'm inwardly focused, then I get very graspy, very needy, very much in, oh my gosh, here's what I'm doing and what I need or what I want. And that's when I feel like I need other people or circumstances to change so that I feel better. And the thing that is the biggest shift for me, like we were talking about yesterday, is the thing that really enables me to release all of that and then start attracting things and make my business so much easier is when I'm not thinking about myself at all. Like, yes, the details still need to get figured out, but that's not my focus. My focus is my clients, my podcast listeners, my followers, the women that are still out there that I haven't reached yet. It's like, what do they need? Where are they? What are they struggling with? What can I do to help them and serve them? And when I'm in that place of service, which you talked about in one of your first podcast episodes, you were talking about like how service is really really one of the keys to having a successful business, is that because it enables you to look outside of yourself, and that is a very different energy. It's an expansive energy when you're in service. And when I'm in that energy, it's way easier for ideas to flow, and I get way more creative and I attract way more people, and I just love my business so much more. And when I love my business more, I put more into it naturally, and then I get more results. So it sounds like you should be focused on yourself and like, okay, be really clear on this goal because that's what's going to drive you to do it. But when I forget myself and I focus on serving, that's actually when I see the biggest results in my business.
Totally. It's huge. It's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. And it feels so much better, doesn't it?
So much better. Oh, it's so much easier.
Yeah.
Like, and I can't figure out why I keep forgetting it. Like my brain literally forgot. My brain is always, this is why I need Jamie so much in my life. My brain always goes to like, okay, but what can we change or do? What kind of action can we take in order to make it work?
Yeah.
And my brain always wants to do that. Always wants to go to like, how, do, change something. And you're always bringing me back to energy, flow, service. It like naturally will create the results you're looking for.
Yes. And you're not alone, Jolene, as you know, with, our whole group, we're all right. Everyone's in the same boat, which is why it's so healing, I think, being in like an intimate group like that, because you can 100%. See everyone's brain is exactly the same. We all do it.
So helpful.
And we all just need coaching to come back to it, because that's what egos do. And that's what it's like, the part of our brain that, I always think about this, like that likes logic and wants to understand the how and thinks there's a right way to do it, right? That part of our brain just doesn't understand energy. It doesn't understand dropping into our heart to create results. It doesn't understand dropping into service. So it just easily forgets. And that's so normal. And that's why we just keep coming back. We keep bringing it back. It's totally fine, right? And that part of our brain does serve us in a lot of ways because it can execute amazingly, right?
Right.
When we are in service, we just have to be careful that we're not letting that run the show all the time.
100%. I think that was, again, one of the biggest shifts for me The year that I went from 12K to 65K, I had so many, and this was right when I started coaching with you. I was like, okay, you're like, all right, what do you want to do this year? And I was like, I want to make $100,000. Am I allowed? Can I have that goal? Is that a dumb goal? Is that too crazy? And you were like, great. If that's what you want, let's figure out why you want it and let's go after it. And then you helped me set up my business in a way that felt like me. Because again, one of the things that I kept trying to do was find the right way to do it. What's the right way to run your business? And I kept doing all these programs that literally would map it out. They were like, send this many emails. Here's exactly what to say. Here's a script. Here's all the things you need. And I tried it and I was like, this feels terrible. This does not feel like me. And so again, that was another thing with the energy is when it didn't feel like me, I felt like it was fake. And then I wouldn't get the results because it didn't feel or come from a place that was genuine. And people can feel that, right? So even though my desire or my intention to help was genuine, the way I was going about it didn't feel like me. And you helped me align it. And you're like, okay, well, how many clients do you want to have? How many hours a week do you want to work? Rather than, okay, well, let's figure out, all right, if you want to make $100,000, you have to work so many hours. You have to coach it this way. And that's what enabled me to, I have 5 kids, they homeschool, I'm with them all day. And it enabled me to set up a business where I work 10 hours a week and still make $100,000 and be there for my kids, and enabled me to create a life that wasn't what was on the cookie cutter sheet, but feels so much more like me and so much easier. And that's what enables me to love it even more and show up for it even more and create even more results.
Oh yeah. And impact. Like look at the impact you've created, which is what is, it's just like, it's amazing that you're working 10 hours a week. You get to be with your family and you're still creating this insane amount of impact.
Yeah.
Right. And I love that you touched on that because it's so true. It's not just about us being in service to our people. It's about us also being in service to ourselves. Like,
yes.
Right. It's like,
100%.
We have to check, is this actually in alignment? Is this actually what I want? And I think one of the biggest beliefs that's probably the most important thing that like entrepreneurs can take on is just, there is no one way. You can make any way work. So if you want to work 10 hours a week and make 6 figures, you can do it. You just have to believe that it's possible and then start brainstorming ways that could work.
Yes. I love that. And I love that it can even shift, right? So when I started working with you, I was coaching one-on-one, and then I shifted into groups, and then I shifted into this like lifetime access program, and all of that felt aligned for where I was at the time. And so your business can evolve with you. And again, you taught me that like, it's okay. Just because you did it this way once doesn't mean it has to stay like that. And part of that is believing that you are the creator of your results rather than thinking it's the program. It's the way I have it set up. It's the payment plan that I offer, right? When we often get stuck in those beliefs, like, well, we get very scared of like, okay, well, then if I change something, then it's not going to work. Or we go to the opposite and we're like, it's not working. I must have to change something in order for me to get results again. But when you come back to your energy and take responsibility for your results, which is something I'm still working on, but taking responsibility for your results, that's what enables your business to grow with you and shift as needed.
Yes. Yeah. So good. So let's talk about some of the things that you have created.
Sure.
Yeah.
What do you want to talk about?
All of the things. What results have you created that you're going to own, Jolene?
I know. I'm still working on this. I have created a phenomenal program. I have an incredible program that I'm so proud of that really attracts exactly who I'm looking for. And I think that's the thing I'm most proud of. The women that I find or that find me are so invested in their own progression. And that's probably the thing that I'm most proud of in my program. I have designed it in a way that feels aligned for me, that helps them, and is continuously open, which was something that I always wanted to have because, as the wife of a porn addict, when you're struggling with that, you can decide at any point, like, okay, now is the day that I'm ready to go forward. And I wanted to be available for them when that happened. So I love the program that I've created. I've also written a book, which was a dream that I had since I was in probably 8th grade. And I published that last year, which was so fun. It launched almost exactly a year ago, last September. And it became an Amazon bestseller. It was great. So that is still there, which I love. And I also created in-person retreats. So last year I hosted my first in-person retreat, and this year we're going to host the second annual in-person retreat in October. And I'm just thrilled with all of it. I love it. I love all of it. And I love my podcast. I think that's one of the things that I love so much. I do it every week. I love that I get to do that for all of the, hundreds of listeners that listen every week, and just makes me so excited to get on every week and talk to them.
Yes. And then what about, because I always like to think, because you were willing to take a leap of faith and work on your relationship with money in a way that you were able to start creating money, what are some of the fun things that you've been able to manifest as effect of making money in your business?
Okay. That has been fun and a lot of work, because my brain around money is like still a hot mess, I feel like, most of the time. But last year I was able to buy a car, which, I mean, guys, it wasn't like a brand new car, and it was my fault that I needed a new car because I totaled my car, and it was my fault, and I wasn't hurt and we were fine. But I did have to buy myself a new car, but I was able to. Yes. I bought myself my own car, and I also paid for the down payment of building a house. And this was brand new. Like, I have been a stay-at-home mom for the last 12 years. And so I've just been very used to my husband being the one that makes the money. And so it was a huge shift in our marriage and our relationship, in my mental space, to start contributing financially in a big, responsible way, not in a heavy way, but in a way that's like, yeah, we can do this. And part of it is because of what I've created in my business. Like, because I have a business, because I'm successful, then I was the one that was enabled us to build a house, which we moved into this year. And I now, like, as of just a couple weeks ago, my husband dropped one of the days that he works. And so now he only works 3 days a week, and he's home with us the other 2 days. And that's just like a lifestyle that I've been dreaming of forever. And as of this week, we're signing a contract to put in a pool. Yeah. And that's all coming from me, which is so fun. It's fun. Okay. It's like, honestly, a little nerve wracking. Like, let's be for right. Like, I'll be for real. It's a little nerve wracking to suddenly have a responsibility financially that I didn't have before, but it's also so exciting to be able to see that I have been able to create the exact life that I want. And I'm seeing it manifested like right now. I'm like, I just look around. I talked to my husband about this yesterday. I sat there in my kitchen and I said, I have the marriage that I want. I have the lifestyle that I want. I have the house and we're getting the pool because I want my kids to enjoy that. And it's just all a dream come true. And I'm learning how to take responsibility for contributing to that and making it happen.
Yes. And also, like, there's no way you could make this happen if you have not had a massive shift in terms of your relationship with money. So it's like, totally. You couldn't have a crappy relationship with money and be creating this life. So I think 100%. You need to give yourself a little more credit, right?
I mean, I do for sure.
Right? Like, it's always evolving. Yeah. I'm always working on my relationship with money, but because it's always evolving, it doesn't mean you haven't come so far. And I've seen that, Jolene, like, you just so sharing these things, like, right? Yeah.
So far. I mean, I used to feel guilty anytime I bought groceries. Yeah. Like, I had nothing even fun or fancy. Just like, I had such a relationship with money. I felt I was very irresponsible with it. I felt guilty anytime I spent it. And anytime my husband and I talked about money, I would shut down and he would get frustrated, and that would be where it ended. And it was just terrible. Like, money was just something I just avoided thinking about or talking about because it brought up so many emotions. It brought up so many insecurities for me, and working through that and shifting that, I mean, still evolving, but shifting that so much is what has enabled me to really come at it with a lot more abundance.
Yeah.
Right. Because when we have that scarce mentality about it, which is why I felt guilty buying groceries, then it limits where you can grow with it, because again, it's that graspy, needy, not expansive energy.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
100%. Totally. And just hearing where you're at now, like all together at once, it's just like bringing tears to my eyes, because I just remember when we started, and this is what's so inspiring for all the listeners who are maybe where Jolene was whenever she started. It's like, I just remember whenever we would have conversations when we started coaching, and you're like, what? I can make $100,000. There's no way. You're like, you thought I was just crazy for let's go, let's do it. Like, you were like, Jamie, how? Like, you just couldn't even grasp it. And look at this. Look at what you've created. Yeah. It's incredible. I'm just so proud of you.
I think
so proud of you.
But there's something really powerful. I think I'm just like totally, everyone on this podcast should work with Jamie, because that was one of the things that I think, I always come back to that. I think one of the biggest things that has been so helpful is when you're trying to hold that belief for yourself. Again, you're trying to hold belief that something is possible, but you've never done it before. Yeah. And your brain just wants evidence and proof and validation first. And holding that belief can be so hard, because all of your self-doubts come up, all of your fears and your insecurities and everything that you've been carrying around forever. It's all there. Yeah. And one of the things that has helped me the most is having you hold belief for me, right? Because you don't have my self-doubts and my insecurities and all of those things. And you're like, oh, I can totally see it, because you're not blinded by all the insecurity and fear. Mm-hmm. I am, right? And so you holding space to believe that for me is so powerful on moments where I can't believe that, or I'm finding it hard to believe that for myself. Knowing that you believe it is actually super helpful in ending up creating it, because even just having someone else hold the energetic space for, okay, but even if I don't believe it's possible right now, Jamie does. Yeah. And what if she's right? And let me have her allow that. And it just opens up so much more belief and just progresses you so much faster.
Yes. Yeah. That's the power of a coach, right? Like,
I know, right?
Because I can see it. I'm like, come on, Jolene. I just don't let you get away with any of the limitations that your brain wants to offer you. I'm not available for it, right? I'm not going to let you be available for it. So it's just absolutely amazing. And I'm thrilled for you, Jolene. It's so fun. So what's next? 300K?
300K. That's the next goal. As you so I've been in the mastermind, and in the mastermind, spoiler alert, there's something that she wants us to work on. Okay. She's like, pick a project. Okay. So my project for the last mastermind has been to become an energetic match for 300K. And that's what I've been working on. And that has been something that I've really felt a big shift this week. We've coached on it, in believing that it's possible, holding that space. And again, going back to why I'm even doing this in the first place, which isn't for me, and doing it for my clients. And 300K is the next step, and it's going to happen. It's done. I don't know how, I don't know exactly when it's happening, but it's happening. And when I allow myself to believe that, and I let go of all of the attachment to it, of needing to have it, of wanting it to happen faster, that's when it's going to happen.
Heck yeah. And we'll have you on the podcast again and talk about the 300K journey, right? I love it.
There it is. It'll be great.
Yes. So I am sure there are listeners who could benefit from the work that you're doing. Maybe it's a woman who has a partner who struggles with porn addiction, right? So where can people find you? Share all the ways.
Okay. All the ways. Well, I do host a weekly podcast. It's called The Porn Addict's Wife. You can find it on Apple, iTunes, wherever you listen to podcasts. I also have an Instagram. You can follow me at Jolene Winn Coaching. And I have a website, jolenewinn.com, and you can go there and find all the ways to work with me, how to join my program, free classes, all the things. I would love to help everybody.
Go follow her. Just be in her energy. It's the best. And we will link all of that along with your book and all the amazing things that you have created. So if anyone wants to, come get some help, they can go find those in the show notes. So Jolene, thank you so much for being here, for sharing your story, for sharing like all of these golden nuggets with us. So much wisdom here. I know it'll be so inspiring for the listeners. I so appreciate you.
Thank you so much for all your work, Jamie. This has been really, I feel like, a tribute to you. I'm going to end this because I have to share this story. Okay. So I have been working with you. I started when you were doing one-on-one. I joined your first group. I joined the mastermind. I'm in the mastermind again. And when I joined this last time, here's what happens is I think that I'm like, I think I got this. And then I stop working with you. And then I go back, my brain does all the same things it was doing before, the same patterns. It keeps going back. And I'm like, why is my brain a hot mess? And then you started your mastermind again. And I told my husband, I was like, I think I need to hire Jamie again. And he was like, yes. And I said, do you want to know how much it is? He's like, it doesn't matter. Yes, your brain needs some help. And I was like, yes. And I just have to keep coming back to you because you are so good for me in making sure that I get out of doing and the how and it brings back. And so I almost feel like all my results, I'm taking responsibility for my results, Jamie, but you should take responsibility and like credit for my brain because you are the one that has helped me keep my brain in this place where I can get the results. So yeah, I've created a lot, but I think you should take some credit.
I'll take credit for supporting you along the journey.
Okay.
I will. I love it. Thank you, Jolene. You're the best.
Thank you, Jamie.
Hey, thanks for listening. I hope this episode is something that you'll be able to add to your manifestation toolbox to come back to when you need a little extra motivation. If you like what you've heard today and want to take it deeper, you've got to come check out my signature coaching program, the Money Manifestation Movement. It's the place where you'll not only learn manifestation, but you'll begin to live it alongside me and an amazing community of like-minded entrepreneurs doing this work together. Head on over to jamieberman.com to learn more.